Hello, this podcast will be about the body membranes. This is learning target number 5 in chapter 4. Okay, for this section, we are going to talk about the 4 different types of membranes that make up the body. 3 of them are made of epithelial tissue. So you'll notice some of the tissues that we've just learned about. And then the 4th type of membrane is made of connective tissues. So these membranes are made up of the various tissues that we have learned about. So the first epithelial membrane we will talk about is called the cutaneous membrane. And anytime you see the word cutaneous, that means your skin. So your skin is actually considered a membrane. So your cutaneous membrane is your skin. As you remember when we learned about stratified squamous, that is the epithelial tissue that your skin is made up of. Only in your skin, your stratified squamous is called keratinized, which means that there are keratin producing cells within that stratified squamous, and it produces a protein called keratin. It makes the cells tougher, shinier, and slightly water repellent, which if you think about your skin, it kind of has all those characteristics. And we say that cutaneous membranes are uniquely dry because they are constantly exposed to the air. The next epithelial membrane that we'll discuss is called the mucous membrane. Mucous membranes line all body cavities that are open to the exterior, which means that they touch outside air, outside air that comes into your body. So, where is that? Cavities that are open to the exterior in your body are your alimentary canal, which is your digestive tract, your respiratory passages, your urinary and reproductive tract. So you can see in the image over here, all of those cavities are lined in blue there. So those would all be lined with mucous membranes. Mucous membranes are made of lots of different types of epithelials, so not just one type in this case. We've talked about a few already. We know that our respiratory tract is lined with that pseudostratified ciliated columnar, which produces mucus. We know that our digestive tract is lined with simple columnar. So there's our esophagus is lined with stratified squamous. So there's various epithelials that make up these particular membranes. Mucous membranes are characteristically wet because they either secrete something or something wet like urine is constantly traveling through them. And mucous membranes are adapted for absorption and secretion. So absorption, it'll absorb things like nutrients and water. Think of your intestines. And then secretion, some secrete mucus. The next epithelial membrane are called serous membranes, and serous membranes line all body cavities that are closed to the exterior. They are composed of simple squamous, so these are very thin membranes. They are single cell layers, but they always come in pairs. So if we zoom in on the image here, you can see that surrounding the heart, there are 2 layers of serous membrane. So these membranes come in pairs. And then you can see around the lungs, there are 2 layers. So serous membranes, again, always come in pairs. So there's 1 layer of the simple squamous, a little bit of space, and then another layer of the simple squamous. And the space between them is filled with fluid. It's called serous fluid, and that is to help reduce friction. If you think about your heart and your lungs, your heart's constantly beating, your lungs are constantly inflating and deflating. So to protect them from all that friction that's happening, that fluid in between the layers in the serous membrane really help to reduce that. The specific names come from the locations within the body. The peritoneum is the one that's located in your abdominal cavity. The pleura is the one that is around your lungs. And then the pericardium is the one surrounding your heart. And I did forget to mention this, but the 2 layers have names. You can see them on these images, so I wanted to make sure to mention it. The visceral layer is the closer layer to the organ, so the closer to the heart, the closer to the lungs, and then the parietal layer is the outer layer of the serous membrane. Okay, and then the last membrane we're going to learn about is the only connective tissue membrane, which means it's composed of connective tissue. These are called synovial membranes. They are composed of a roller connective tissue. They are located in the capsules surrounding joints, like in this picture right here. They are also located in our bursa, which are kind of like little pockets of fluid near our joints. And then also surrounding our tendons as well, we have connective tissue membranes. They function to provide a smooth surface and lubricating fluid in our movable joints. And they also protect the tendons as the tendons move across bones. All right, if you're following along in your notes in Notability, I really recommend this summary table. If you pause the video now and just kind of review everything we just talked about using your notes, this summary table is a great thing to study from and to practice from. So I really recommend you fill it out now. Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. As always, now is a great time to go to Quizlet and practice some of the information you just learned.